My teacher failed me for rejecting him. So I exposed his affair with the principal. So my English teacher failed me because I rejected him. And before you say, no way that actually happened. Yes, way. And it gets so much worse because I found out he was sleeping with the principal. What started as a failing grade turned into a full-blown school scandal, and I'm 17M, quiet kid, good grades, never caused drama. Mr. Carson, my English teacher, was the kind of guy everyone liked. Charming, funny, young, maybe too friendly sometimes. When I first joined his class, he said I was one of his brightest students. Always give me these little smiles, call me kiddo, and sometimes sit on my desk while talking. I thought he was just being nice, until it wasn't point one day after class. He asked me to stay behind. I thought it was about a project, but then he leaned against the desk and said, "You've got a really mature energy. You ever been told that before?" I just laughed awkwardly and said no. He smiled and said, "Well, I noticed things most people don't." He started finding excuses to keep me after class, helping me with essays, complimenting my looks, brushing my shoulder when he walked past. At first, I ignored it. I didn't want to believe it was creepy. But then he asked me out. Straight up said, "I know it's not allowed, but we could hang out off campus. No one has to know." I froze. Said, "No, that's weird. You're my teacher." He just shrugged and said, "Your loss." And then he failed me. Next report card, boom. An F. I went from an A student to failing out of nowhere. When I asked him why, he smirked and said, "You didn't meet expectations." I went to the principal to report it, but she didn't even let me finish. She said, "Mr. Carson is a valued teacher. Maybe focus more on your studies." Like I was the problem. That's when I realized something was off between them. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm in the library after school, scrolling through the school's Google Drive. I was on the student council, so I had access to some shared folders. I opened a random folder labeled Staff Conference Files. Inside were photos. Mr. Carson and the principal. In her office. Hands all over each other. It was like a punch to the chest. Everything made sense. Why she protected him, why she brushed me off, why he acted untouchable. They were sleeping together. I sat there for 10 minutes staring at the screen. Then I whispered, "You messed with the wrong student." Because if he was going to ruin my grades, I was going to ruin his career. In part 2, I'll tell you exactly how I exposed both of them and how the entire school turned into a war zone after my post went viral. Part 2, so remember how my teacher failed me because I rejected him and I found out he was sleeping with the principal? Yeah, well, I wasn't going to let that slide. If they thought I was just some quiet kid they could mess with, they were so wrong. Because I exposed everything, and it blew up the whole school. After finding those photos, I didn't sleep for 2 days. My hands were literally shaking, part fear, part adrenaline. I saved every single file. Screenshots, email attachments, timestamps, everything. And then I made a burner Instagram account. I started posting the pictures one by one. First, just a blurry shot of the principal's office with the caption, "What happens after class stays after class." Then, the next day, a full photo of them kissing. By day 3, everyone in school knew something was going on. Whispers in the hallway. Group chats exploding. People asking, "Did you see the post? That's Mr. Carson." By lunch, it had 10,000 views. By the next morning, every teacher was talking about it, but pretending not to. Mr. Carson looked terrified. He came to class with sweat on his forehead, snapping at everyone. Then he pulled me aside after class and hissed, "You think you're clever? You have no idea who you're dealing with." I smiled and said, "You have no idea who you're dealing with either." 2 days later, the principal called an urgent assembly. She looked pale, shaking, trying to act professional while half the students were whispering and recording her speech. She said, "We will be investigating the spread of false information regarding staff members." False information? Girl, the receipts were online. Right after that, Mr. Carson disappeared from school. On leave, they said. Yeah, sure. My parents got called in. The school tried to frame it like I was spreading lies to hurt a teacher's reputation. So I dropped the nuke. I opened my laptop, plugged in a flash drive, and played the photos in front of everyone. Principal, vice principal, guidance counselor, all of them. Silence. Then my mom said, So this is the man who failed my son? The principal just stood there, frozen. That same day, both she and Mr. Carson were placed on administrative leave. By the end of the week, they were gone. Turns out I wasn't his first student target. When the investigation started, other kids came forward. Same creepy messages, same stay after class routine. He'd been doing this for years. And the principal? She covered it up because she was in on it. Thought it's been 6 months. Mr. Carson lost his teaching license. The principal's divorce papers went public. And me? I transferred schools. New start, new peace. Sometimes people still DM me like, "Hey, are you the kid who exposed the teacher?" And I just say, "Yeah, that's me." Because honestly, if someone ever tries to ruin your future, make sure you ruin their reputation. Part 3, it's been 3 months since I blew up my teacher's career and exposed his affair with the principal. They both vanished like ghosts. Until last week, when he emailed me. Yeah, he actually had the nerve to reach out. The subject line was simple. "I'm sorry." At first I thought it was spam, but when I opened it, my whole body went cold. He said, "You destroyed my life, but I can't even blame you. I just wish things had gone differently. You were special. Special." The same word he used to say before asking me to stay after class that I didn't reply. But he sent another one the next day. Then another. Each one getting creepier. "I still think about you. I hope you're doing well. Sometimes I drive by your new school." That's when I realized he hadn't changed. He wasn't sorry. He was obsessed that I took the email straight to the police. They traced them. Guess who was violating his restraining order? Yeah, Mr. Carson. He got arrested again. This time, there was no leave of absence. Just handcuffs. Sometimes people ask if I regret exposing him. If I wish I'd just let it go. But every time I see his name pop up in another article. Former teacher arrested for harassment. I just think, he failed me once. But in the end, I'm the one who gave him his final grade. F for finished. Wow, I honestly didn't expect this post to blow up like it did. Reading all your comments made me realize I wasn't crazy for feeling the way I did. So, a little update. After everything went down, the school board did a full investigation. They found out my teacher had been doing this to other students too, not just me. The difference was nobody else had proof. But when I turned in all the screenshots, emails, and the texts where he literally admitted to using grades as leverage, that was it. Game over. He got suspended indefinitely while they reviewed his case. And the principal? Yeah. Turns out she wasn't as innocent as she pretended to be. When they checked her emails, they found out she knew about it and was covering for him because they were having an affair. So now both of them are gone. The teacher lost his job. The principal resigned before they could fire her, and the school had to call an emergency assembly to reaffirm their commitment to student safety. It was honestly surreal sitting there while they talked about ethics and boundaries, knowing I was the reason that whole thing was happening. And me? I passed the class with flying colors. The new teacher was amazing, fair, professional, actually cared about teaching. But the best part? A week after the story blew up online, I got a message from one of my classmates saying, "Hey, thank you. You spoke up when I couldn't." That made every ounce of stress worth it. So if anyone ever tries to use power against you like that, speak up, screenshot everything. Protect yourself, because people like that, they only win if you stay quiet.